In today's video, I'm going to quickly go over 3 things that you should be aware of before using Lorazepam or Ativan. Number 1, when you use Lorazepam, you may experience sedation. Many people believe that everybody who uses Lorazepam experiences sedation, but in fact, it only seems to happen in about 16% of patients. Some patients may just experience the sedation early on in therapy when their body's still getting used to the medication, but after some time on the medication, it could go away. For some, though, the sedation may persist and begin to affect the patient's activities of daily living. If this is the case for you, be sure to speak with your prescriber and work together to make a plan of how to move your treatment forward. You also have to keep in mind that the dose you've been prescribed, the dose that you're using, may play a key role in determining whether or not you'll experience sedation. When treating things like anxiety, in the maintenance phase, the dosing can range from 1 milligram to 10 milligrams per day, given in 2 or 3 divided doses. So you can see that there would be a big variation why some patients would experience that sedation and others wouldn't. Number 2, when you use Lorazepam, you may experience dizziness or unsteadiness. In terms of percentages, dizziness seems to happen just under 7% of the time, and unsteadiness seems to happen in about 3.5% of patients. With a combination of side effects like dizziness, unsteadiness, and sedation, it's important to be careful when you first start using this medication, especially for those first couple doses. It would be recommended not to drive a car or operate heavy machinery after your first couple doses until you have a better understanding of how the medication makes you feel. Another thing to consider is that in the elderly population, dizziness and unsteadiness can sometimes lead to falls, and falls can lead to fractures. So patients who are considered elderly should be especially careful when starting Lorazepam. And number 3, some patients who use Lorazepam experience depression. The risk of experiencing depression associated with Lorazepam increases if the patient has a pre-existing mood disorder. So if you do have a mood disorder, this should be discussed with your prescriber to really weigh the risks versus benefits of starting Lorazepam. There are some symptoms of new or worsening depression that you can track to see if you think you're moving towards depression. Some patients may experience a change in their sleep patterns. This could be either too much sleep or not enough sleep. You may experience fatigue or low energy. Sadness, hopelessness, anger, and irritability are possible symptoms of depression. Or a loss of interest in activities that you used to find enjoyable. And lastly, you may experience difficulty in concentrating. It can be helpful to keep a journal to track these symptoms, so when you show up for your follow-up appointment with your prescriber, you have concrete information to share with them. This will help them make an informed decision of how to move your care forward. That's all we're going to talk about today with Lorazepam or Ativan, but before you take off, I want to remind you can pick up a copy of my book, The 5th Episode, Inside the Manic Mind, by clicking on a link in the description of this video. Take care.